In a world where it feels like every single moment has to be captured and put online, there's this really interesting group of people who just opt out. They're there, they're living life, but you won't find their face on your feed. So let's get into what's behind that decision.
So that's the big question, right? We all know someone like this. That friend who masterfully dodges every group photo or whose profile pic is like a blurry photo of their dog. Why do they do it? Is it just a personal quirk, or is there something a little deeper going on under the surface?
All right, let's start with the most obvious answer. Because, sometimes the reason someone avoids the camera isn't some big psychological puzzle. It's just about privacy. And before we get into all the complex stuff, it's really important to get this out on the table. For a lot of people, this isn't some kind of red flag. It's just a choice, a personal boundary. And these reasons are pretty straightforward. It could be valuing privacy in a world that doesn't, or maybe just not caring about the whole performance of social media. But here's a really interesting point from the analysis. Choosing not to post can actually be a sign of social maturity. It's a kind of confidence where you know your self-worth isn't measured in likes and comments. But, of course, it's not always that simple, is it? For some people, avoiding photos isn't just a preference. It's a genuine, deep-seated discomfort. And that's where we can use psychology as a lens to see what else might be going on. The psychological analysis really points to three main underlying reasons that go way beyond just wanting to be private. Think of these as the deeper currents pulling someone away from the camera. Let's break them down. First up, there's the fear of evaluation. Now, this is not just about not liking a picture of yourself. No, this is a much bigger, more intense fear of what other people are going to think. A fear that they'll judge you, pick apart how you look, maybe even make fun of you. It's tied really closely to social anxiety, where the internet feels less like a community and more like a huge stage with a very, very harsh spotlight. The second reason is a poor self-image. And it's really important to see how this is different from the first point. This isn't just about what you look like. It's a much broader, more pervasive feeling of just not being good enough in general. The photo becomes this piece of evidence that seems to confirm all their own negative feelings about themselves. And finally, our past experiences can build some really powerful walls. I mean, think about it. If you were ever bullied because of a photo, or if someone shared a picture of you in a way that hurt you, that leaves a mark. It creates a deep psychological wound. So refusing to be in photos becomes a defense mechanism. It's a way of saying, nope, I am not letting that happen to me ever again. Okay, so we've looked at privacy and we've looked at fear. But now we get to what I think is the most fascinating twist in this whole analysis. What if not posting pictures has nothing to do with weakness at all? What if, in some cases, it's actually about a very powerful kind of strength? And this just lays it out so perfectly. Psychologists talk about an inverse relationship here. On one hand, you have people who post constantly, which can sometimes signal a deep need for outside approval, that constant search for validation. But then you have the complete opposite, someone who refuses to appear at all. And this might actually signal a profound self-confidence. It's the quiet comfort of someone who doesn't need anyone else to prove they exist. So here's the big takeaway. We tend to see someone's absence online and assume it comes from a place of insecurity or fear. But this idea completely flips that on its head. It suggests that real, genuine confidence doesn't need an audience. Sometimes the most self-assured person in the room is the one who feels zero need to post a picture proving they were even there. And this brings us to the most important part of the conversation. We've spent time analyzing why other people do this, but now it's time to turn that question inward. Not to judge, but just to understand ourselves a little better. This quote from the analysis just hits the nail on the head. In a culture that is constantly screaming at us to perform for an audience, this is such a powerful thing to remember. Social media is not a mirror. Your worth is inside you. It has absolutely nothing to do with likes, shares, or comments. So this is really what it all boils down to. If you're someone who shies away from photos, the important question isn't whether that's right or wrong, it's about the why. Are you doing it because you are genuinely comfortable and at peace with who you are? If so, that's amazing. But if that reason is rooted in fear, well, maybe that's an invitation to start being a little kinder to yourself. And that's where we're going to leave it. Whether you post 10 times a day or you haven't posted in 10 years,
The most powerful thing you can do is understand your own why. Is your relationship with your own image being driven by fear, or is it being driven by comfort? The answer to that question is way more important than any picture will ever be.